Okay, once it's recording, I have a script I will be going by. So I'll go ahead and start reading this. So I'll call the meeting to order. The time is 5:15 p.m. on September 16th, 2020. I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Ethics to order. Please bear with me. There's a lot I have to read in accordance with the city instructions here. In the interest of public health and safety and pursuant to the governor's executive order, NTAC 929 TAC 20, members of the Board of Ethics and staff are participating in this meeting by teleconference. In accordance with the executive order, the public may view this meeting online, but not in the Board of Ethics Executive Conference Room 103. The city launched a virtual commenting portal, eComment, that allows residents to comment and participate in the meeting from their own homes. You can find the link to eComment at www.chulavistaca.gov/boards. Your comments must be received before I call for the close of the commenting period in order to be considered. After the commenting period is closed, I will announce a brief pause to allow the board members time to read any comments that have been received. If you have any difficulty or need assistance with e-comment during the meeting, please call 619-576-5366. And the city's attorney's office staff will assist you. If there's no questions, would the secretary please call the roll?
Chair Guerrero.
Present.
Vice Chair Teal.
Present.
Board Member Barragan.
Barragan present.
Board Member Torres.
Present.
Board Member Welling.
Present.
And Board Member Carla Chin is absent. Thank you.
Okay. So move on to the first agenda item, public comments. Public comments is a section on the agenda for members of the public to address the board on items that are not listed on the agenda. I will now call for a 2-minute pause to allow the public to submit any final public comments. As a reminder, please refresh to the commissioners. Please refresh the view on your screen to ensure new comments appear. Will the staff? Okay, and over to you, Marissa.
Hi, Simone, will you please post the counter? Thank you.
Okay, let me get to that. Escape. The 2 minutes have begun.
There were no comments.
Okay, so the commenting period for the public comments is now closed. And as you stated, there are no comments. So we'll move on to the next portion. The first item on the agenda is introduction of the new city manager, Maria Caciadorian. And I'll pass it over to you, Simone, if you want to introduce her in order to Ms. Caciadorian.
You can mute it, Simone.
All right, Ms. Caciadorian, you could go ahead and introduce
That was
yourself.
my introduction, so that's okay.
That's faster.
That's okay, I'll just do it. Hi again, my name is Maria Caciadorian. I'm the new city manager here with the city of Chula Vista. Actually, I've been here with the city for about 22 years, going on 23. So I've been here a long time. I'm not new to the city. So I've been in the city manager's office 5 years prior to being appointed as the city manager. Most of my career I spent as a finance director and worked through the Great Recession, had a lot of challenges as a finance director when I was working here during those times. But as a city manager, one of the goals that I had, or one of my top goals, of course, is to, work with the city departments and with the public to try to find any ways that we can, whatever we can do to help our community through this pandemic. It's impacting every aspect of our lives. If it weren't for this situation, I would be meeting with you in person. We're spending a lot of time trying to communicate with the public. I actually did a radio interview this morning in Spanish. I'm even brushing up on my Spanish, which I need to do more of, because we're really just trying to reach out to the entire community to make sure that we're doing everything we can do to be safe. But even in the middle of a pandemic, we are finding ways to continue to provide services, sometimes in a very different way. And there's a lot more information on the website if you're interested in hearing more about that. But I really just want to take the time to introduce myself, and I'm trying to make the rounds to every board and commission. We have a lot of them, so it's taken me quite a bit of time to get through everybody. But really, I just want to take the opportunity to introduce myself. I think it's part of the responsibility of the city manager to really try to meet as many people as they can, connect with the community as much as we can. I actually grew up in the South Bay. I grew up in Imperial Beach. I went to Mar Vista High School and attended San Diego State. So I've been in the community for a long time. My kids grew up here. We still live in Chula Vista. So I'm very familiar with the community. I have a lot of memories of Chula Vista. Again, I grew up in Imperial Beach. My family, we couldn't afford to buy a house in Chula Vista. Now my entire family lives here in Chula Vista, which is really nice. But I have a lot at stake in terms of trying to help the community through what we're going through right now. So I just want to take the time to introduce myself. Hopefully someday soon we'll be able to meet in person. I know the mayor has an event every year which acknowledges all the boards and commissioners. I'm not sure how it's going to play out next time we do that, but hang tight, and thank you for everything that you do. You have a very critical role here in the city, and I appreciate everything that you do. So with that, I will get out of the way and let you continue on with your business. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you taking the time to introduce yourself.
Thank you.
Before you go, we do have to have the 2-minute pause in case anybody has any questions for you or the commission. So I'll go ahead and get started on the 2 minutes then, with the chair's permission.
Of course, to start 2-minute timer.
You're not referring to me, Simone, right? I can go. Or do I?
The 2 minutes has now stopped.
Okay. And to all commissioners, we're going to have to do that between every agenda item for 2 minutes. So just for situational awareness.
Great, thank you.
Yes. Thank you. There were no comments, and Board Member Carla Shin just joined.
Great. Well, thank you. All right. If there's no further comments on the previous, we'll move on to action item number 2.
And I'll just bring it up real quickly, Mr. Chair. We're supposed to have a chair and a vice chair. Usually the elections take place in August. And so we're relatively close because this is our first meeting of this fiscal year. The last time the board and elect a chair and a vice chair was actually in February. February to now, I don't think we've had any meetings at this point in time. The current chair and vice chair are obviously Mr. Guerrero and Mr. Vice Chair Teal.
Ms. Teal.
Ms. Teal. And so you folks can have a series of options to nominate the current chair and vice chair, take nominations and vote for the chair and vice chair, however you folks choose to do it.
Okay, I'll open it up to the commissioners. What would you all like? We'll do a majority. Anybody have an opinion either way? Mr. Welling?
I would make a motion to nominate the current chair and vice chair for the next term.
Okay, motion. Okay, I'm sorry, who was the second?
Carmen Flores?
Okay. Marissa, do you have that? I'll just make sure.
I do. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
So the motion is on the table. I guess, is there a way we're supposed to copy everybody's, whether the A or nay, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The way we'll do it is we have to do 2 minutes, and then after the 2 minutes, we would vote, and we would do so by roll call.
Copy that. So the motion's on the table. We'll go for 2 minutes.
Share my screen. And the 2 minutes have started.
Thank you.
The time has expired.
Okay, there were no comments. I will now request each member's vote by roll call. Chair Guerrero,
Aye.
Vice Chair Teal,
Aye.
Board Member Bararan,
Aye.
Board Member Chen. Aye. Board Member Torres. Aye. Board Member Welling.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. So the measure passes, and myself and Ms. Teal will remain as chair and co-chair. Okay, so sorry, I'm reading the script here. Item number 3. Is there nothing else on here on item 2, correct, Simone?
That's correct. Item 2 is passed unanimously, and we'll move on to item 3, which is discussion regarding COVID-19 impact to the board and commission meetings. Clearly, we're going through it right now. We haven't had live meetings for quite a while. It was a combination of first having to set up how city council does their meetings, and then working through a process for boards and commissions. I think boards and commissions started meeting with the last couple of months. And so we finally were able to get this one on. The process that we're going to follow here is going to be the same going forward until we're able to meet again, which is we will have comments via e-comments. That's how the public participation will take place. We'll meet on a Zoom-like platform, WebEx in this case. And so the format's going to be is the reading of the introduction like we did today. We'll call each item. The one thing we have to remember, even if it's not in the script, before you take final action on the item, we have to have 2 minutes. Just like in a regular meeting, the public gets to comment on everything on the agenda before we take final action. So just kind of make sure when we go forward that at some point during an item, before we take a vote on it or end it, we go ahead and have the 2-minute comment. And so this is how we'll be doing it. And so going forward, we'll get better. That's the good thing about it. And hopefully we'll still stay active. There's different things we can do going forward, which is the last thing on the agenda that we can discuss. So I just want to let you know this is the process going forward. We'll have a script and make sure that we're able to do it. So does anybody have any questions? No, I see no questions. Then yes. Okay, I see no questions. So with Mr. Chair, with the chair's permission, I will go ahead and start the 2 minutes if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
The time has already started.
Okay, so the commenting period for public comment is now closed. Any comments?
There are no comments.
Okay. And again, do any of the commissioners have comments or questions? I see no hands. Okay. Or anybody speaking up? We'll move on to item 4. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the February 19, 2020 minutes. Does everybody have a chance to review them?
Yeah.
Do the commissioners have any clarifying questions for the staff before we move to public comment? I don't see anything. So, Simone, just a technical question here. Do we put it before the floor for approval, or do we wait for public comment first and then put it?
You can make a motion now. That's probably a little bit better way to do it. That way the public can comment on the motion if they wanted to. So I would ask that there be a motion to either approve or not approve with a second.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from, sorry, get the date here, February 19th, 2020.
I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a second. So now we'll open it to public comment and 2-minute timer, please.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry, who seconded?
Stephanie.
Thank you.
And the time has started.
Okay.
This is passed.
Commenting period for public comment is now closed. Any comments?
There were no comments. I will now request each member's vote by roll call. Chair Guerrero,
Aye.
Vice Chair Teal,
Aye.
Board Member Barragan,
Aye.
Board Member Chin,
Aye.
Board Member Torres,
Aye.
Board Member Welling.
Aye.
Thank you.
And for the record, the item passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item. Next item is item 5, consideration of excuse absences for Member Chin, February 19th, 2020 regular meeting. Member Torres for February 19th, 2020 regular meeting. I make a motion, well, just make a motion to accept these two absences as per the documentation that was attached.
I'll offer a second.
We have a second for Mr. Welling. And we'll start public comment.
Okay. Time has started. The time has expired.
Okay, the comment period for public comments is now closed. Any comments?
There were no comments. I will now request each member's vote by roll call. Chair Guerrero.
Aye.
Vice Chair Teal.
Aye.
Board Member Barragan. Board Member Barragan. Can you hear me?
Perhaps we could come back to him.
Yes. Board Member Chen.
Aye.
Board Member Torres.
Aye.
Board Member Welling.
Aye.
And Board Member Barragan.
We do have a majority. In this case, how would you treat this, Simon?
I would at this point have the motion passes, and it would be let me cut the number.
Yes, I apologize. I know what we were on, but I just couldn't hear what step we were in. The vote would be aye for me.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Then the item passes unanimously.
Okay. Next item, item number 6. The next item on the agenda, update on appointment of representative to Board of Ethics interview panel. Simone, do you have a presentation for that?
I do. In terms of that item, I believe we have a vacancy, and we do have new applications. We can also choose to interview prior applicants that were there. So what I'll end up doing is is like we did last time, was gather up all the applications that we have, see if the prior people remain interested, because I think we hold on them for a little bit. If they're within the time frame, I will provide them to the interview panel members, and then they can decide who they want to interview, and then conduct the interviews. Currently, we have Vice Chair Teal as the representative from the Board of Ethics on the interview panel. The Charter Review Commission, which is the partner commission that we do the interviews with, they met last week and they selected Todd Glanz to be their representative. Todd Glanz was actually on the Board of Ethics prior to his appointment to the Charter Review Commission, so he's well aware of the role you folks play in our ethics rules. So the goal is to probably do interviews sometime in the next month to 45 days. Ideally, we would interview them and have them in place by November's meeting to be able to do that. So we have our people, Vice Chair Teal, the Board of the Charter Review Commission has their individual, Mr. Glanz. Then I'll submit to the two members of the interview panel who has applied. We'll probably have one meeting to organize things where we see who you folks want to interview, and then also just review the questions that want to be asked of the participants. That way the questions are uniform for everybody. And then after that, we'd have the actual interview session. Of course, it would be done via Zoom as we are now doing things. So that's pretty much it. But we do have a vacancy, and I think with that vacancy being filled, we'll be pretty much fully staffed as a board and commission. So any questions?
If commissioners don't have any questions, we'll go ahead and start the 2-minute pause to allow public comment and any final comments before the item. Well, yeah, just public comment.
Yeah, there's no actions required.
No action, yeah.
The time has started. Mr. Chair, the time has expired.
Okay. Commenting period for public comments now closed. Any comments?
There were no comments.
Okay. And any comments from the commissioners? Nope. Okay, we'll move on to the next item, item number 7. Discussion and action of items and activities to place on future agendas. Does the staff have a presentation?
I do. I just wanted to kind of update you on things that I will try to bring to the board going forward. We've worked on a lobbyist registration ordinance, and we're also working on an ex parte communications policy where council would report their interactions on items that go before a full city council meeting. What I'd like to do is since you folks haven't seen it, I'd like to spend the next meeting going over what the current version of the proposed ordinance would look like for lobbyist registration, and then also what a proposed ex parte communication policy to look for, what it would look like, and just kind of get you up to speed as to what we've done so far and why, and then at subsequent meetings to work with you to see if there's any changes you folks would like to make, and then start the process to meet with the other stakeholders, as well as appointing a couple of you folks to be able to come to these stakeholder meetings so you're aware of the issues they raise and can provide us guidance as we go forward to draft it. It's something that we do want to complete. One thing about a lobbyist registration ordinance, it's really about public sunshining of government activities. We currently do it for Brown Act with the meetings. We do it with Public Records Act, but we really don't have any law right now that governs what they do in the meetings. So it's kind of the last component that we need in terms of sunshining government activities. That's really the crux of it. And of course, we balance the big concern the lobbyists brought up at the time was kind of they don't want to create a bureaucracy that's excessively cumbersome where they're documenting everything. We've done things to balance that, and we'll explain that at the next meeting. So that's what I'd like to start doing at the next meeting is get you folks up to speed since it's been a while since we've met, and it was going on since a lot of you folks finally joined. So we'll get you up to speed there. That way you can guide us going forward in terms of what we'd like to do. And then the other component is I'd like to kind of just have in each meeting like a 10-minute or 15-minute just discussion on the different ethics laws that we face. Because a lot of times we bring up things like, the Political Reform Act, the Brown Act, just a primer just on what it means and what it's looking at. And then from there, if you folks want additional training on an issue, we can do that. But I would intend to bring, the Brown Act, the Public Records Act, the Political Reform Act, which deals with having a financial interest in an item that comes before a board or commission or council, a 1090 violation, which is probably one of the more serious violations. It's a government code section that's a felony or a misdemeanor. Usually it starts off as a felony, where a governmental employee, not just a council member, but any employee, they can't have a financial interest in any contract made by them. And made by them is incredibly broad. It's from pitching a concept all the way to signing a contract. So that's an important one that we deal with. 1199, a government code section of incompatible offices, as well as common law bias, issues that I get questions on from council acting commissioners and other government employees. And then finally, common law bias, that is really kind of an in-depth personal look at, can I be loyal to the city against an interest I may have in that's separate from the city's. That's a kind of a common law bias. So just kind of a real brief 10 to 15 minute discussion of where they are, what it means, and who enforces these things generally. Like a 1090 is enforced by the district attorney's office since it is a crime. And Political Reform Act is if it's a civil matter, it's done by the FPPC. It's also potentially a crime that the DA's office can look at. So I'll be able to give you just a primer on each one, so we know the issues that come up going forward. And of course, our own code of ethics, so you know where it's at and who's it's applicable to. So I'd like to do that. I don't want to take up like an hour each meeting, but just a short amount of time to have you thinking about it, aware of the term, and then be able to ask questions as you folks would like. I also like to note that in October, I think in the first week or so, we're going to send out an announcement. We are, including myself, are subject to the requirement under AB 1234 that we have to do annual ethics training or biannual ethics training. We're going to put it on at our city attorney's office. The city attorney and then the assistant city attorney, Joe Malin, are going to put the presentation on this year, and it'll fulfill the state requirement that we'll be able to put in in a public record as well. So that's pretty much it from what I'd like to be able to do with you folks in terms of putting things on the agenda. Are there any things you folks are interested that would like to put on the agenda? Ms. Teal, and you're muted. Yeah.
So I have a question about that ethics thing. I thought we did that for the newbies. We did right before we came in, right? Something with the ethics, and isn't it for 2 years? But you just said 1 year.
I changed it to biannual as I realized it's
Okay.
it seems like I do it every year because I've done the training as well as the online version. You're supposed to do it within a specified time period upon appointment. So I think it's 6 months. So you folks have probably already done it. If you'd like to do it again, it's going to be a live version. It's a bit more interactive. But if you haven't done it, it's also available and supplants the online version of it. Although I guess this will be online as well, but it's more interactive. I actually did mine online about 3 months ago. So, but you're right. It's it's biannual or every other year, and you could either do it online or you can do the live version, which we try to do every year. Any other questions? Yes.
Just going back to the lobbyist ordinance and ex parte communications policy, are we still planning on moving forward with the ad hoc committee?
Yeah. Yes. I think what I want to do is brief everybody and then break down in the ad hoc committee to draft language, and then from the ad hoc committee to be able to assist us as we go forward with the other stakeholders. And the stakeholders are really organized lobbyists, as well as different businesses that are affected by it, because it would cover businesses as well. And any other groups that's interested or that you folks think we should bring this up to as well.
Okay, thank you.
And that's all I have. Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay.
All right, there's no other questions. We'll start the timer for 2 minutes.
And the 2 minutes will start now. The 2 minutes has expired.
Okay, the comment period for public comment is now closed. Any comments?
There were no comments.
Okay, we'll move on to other business. The next item on the agenda is item 8, staff comments. Over to you, Simons.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for coming. I'm sorry we didn't have meetings sooner, but the pandemic kind of just changed everything and how to get adjusted to that. This is going to be pretty much the normal, so we have to get back to business as best we can. It's nice to see everybody. I look forward to working with everybody. I think between the lobbyist ordinance, learning the different ethics laws, between those two things, you folks will be able to help us a lot more in terms of identifying issues that, ethical issues and things that we can improve on as a city. And again, I'm going to give you information as we go forward to build the base. And then from there, we welcome your input as to what we can do going forward. There's different ways we can carry out the direction of that you folks want to do, whether it's a letter or direction to our office, a letter to the city manager, asking them to do things, as well as a report to city council or additional actions that we want going forward. So I look forward to working with you, and I hope everybody's doing well, and I'm glad to see you folks. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is item 9, chair comments. Same, thank you everybody for being able to participate, all the commissioners. Thank you, Marissa, for putting this great script together. It's very detailed. I really appreciate it. And it was great training by Ms. Bigelow's team this afternoon. So this is all a learning experience doing it this way. It's a little more organized than a lot of my other meetings throughout the day. So this is great. And Simone, great on the training. That's awesome. Yeah, that'll help us out. So it'll also keep us having meetings as well. Even if there's no items for us to review, at least the training will be there. So we can meet at least once a month or every other month. That's all I have. Next item is commissioner comments, and we'll go one at a time. If Marissa, can you read off the names and see if anybody has any comments?
Sure. Vice Chair Teal.
I have monthly meetings, or is it going to be? Sorry, I just wanted to clarify that one.
So it's meetings as need. Well, if something comes up, obviously we'll meet the following month. But if there's nothing, unless there's training available by Simone, if we don't have to meet, we won't meet. But if Simone's training that's coming up, we'll meet at least to have that training. So yes, we'll continue the monthly meetings.
Okay.
Yeah, generally we have a regular monthly meeting that does get canceled if we don't have any agenda items. We've had, a period of time where we've gone like several months without a meeting because we didn't have any items to put on the agenda. But I did feel we should meet, and speaking with the chair, at a minimum once a quarter. So, and going forward, I think we'll have monthly meetings because of the training and the ordinance that we're proposing. But then after that, it'll be, we'll schedule a monthly meeting, but cancel it if we don't have any agenda items. And we'll try to give you as much notice as we can if it's going to be canceled.
Thank you. Board Member Barragan.
No comments. Just thank you for keeping the meetings organized and keeping us informed. I'm glad everybody's looking safe and taking good care.
Thank you. Board Member N. Who? Carla Chen.
No comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Torres.
Hello. I just wanted to wish everyone safety, health, and strength during this pandemic. And it is good to see everybody. And I'm going to try to get a video camera for next time.
Thank you. Board Member Welling.
I just want to say it's good to see you all. I'm sorry it's not in person, but I look forward to getting back to work.
Thank you.
And then, Mr. Chair, on this item, we'll do the final 2 minutes, and then after that, you can move to adjourn with no additional 2 minutes after that.
Okay, so I guess start the clock for 2 minutes.
I'll start the clock now.
Okay.
Final stop.
Any comments?
No comments.
Okay, the time is now 6:09 p.m. and I'm adjourning this meeting to October 21, 2020, if available, which we should be doing it.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I also want to thank Marissa for doing the script and running the meeting. It's quite an endeavor for our first time as a board and commission. So I want to thank Marissa for that. And thank you, everybody, for being present. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Great. Thank you all. Have a good evening. Going offline.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.
I want to be with you, Marissa. Have fun tonight.
Yeah. Enjoy. Have a good
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Marissa. Take care. Bye.